In the global economic landscape, ports play a vital role as key nodes connecting trade between countries. The Chancay Port project in South America is a striking example. Although the project is 70% complete, critical final stages are still pending. It was at this turning point that the Brazilian delegation traveled across the ocean to Peru, seeking in-depth cooperation with Peru in the construction of the Port of Chancay. This move makes us very curious. Why did Brazil show such a strong willingness to cooperate at a critical moment in the project? To know the answer to the question, let's first take a look at the Port of Chancay, the focus of cooperation between Brazil and Peru. This port is located about 80 kilometers north of Lima, the capital of Peru. It is a natural deepwater port with a maximum water depth of 16 meters. Its construction scale is very grand, covering important facilities such as multifunctional terminals and container terminals, with a total investment of more than $3 billion. Construction of the port started in 2019, and the current construction progress has reached 70%. The entire project is expected to be completed in November this year. After the construction is completed, its total annual throughput will reach an astonishing 1 million TEUs, and it is expected to become one of the largest cargo transshipment centers in South America. As for why Brazil is eager to seek cooperation with Peru in the Port of Chancay, it is not difficult to discover the mystery through in-depth analysis of past trade data of South American countries. Exports from South American countries, especially to vast markets such as North America, Europe, and East Asia, have long relied on the Panama Canal, an important channel. But the busy canal is not perfect, and its limitations are becoming increasingly apparent. We all know that the Panama Canal can accommodate ships with a maximum width of only 49 meters and a maximum length of 366 meters. This restriction results in as many as 25% of Brazilian cargo ships being unable to pass through the Panama Canal due to size issues each year and having to choose to bypass the Cape of Good Hope. This detour not only extended the transportation cycle of Brazilian freighters, but also caused a 30% increase in transportation costs. Secondly, through observation, we can find that most of the commodities exported by Brazil are mainly raw materials and crops. Although these commodities occupy a pivotal position in the international market, the value of these commodities is relatively low. The cost for each cargo ship to pass through the Panama Canal is as high as $220,000 to $250,000. In Brazil, up to 12,000 ships need to pass through the Panama Canal every year. Assuming an average cost of $230,000 per ship, Brazil spends as much as $3 billion annually on the canal. Imagine this amount of money being enough to build a luxurious Emirates Palace Hotel or the Congress Palace in Romania. Obviously, such high expenditure not only affects the guarantee of profits, but also puts Brazil at a disadvantage in international trade. He must bear expensive transportation costs, which will eventually be passed on to consumers, thus affecting the market competitiveness of the product. But through cooperation with Peru, it is entirely possible for Brazil to use the Port of Chancay as a transshipment point and bypass the Panama Canal. In this way, Brazil can invest the $3 billion saved domestically to benefit its citizens. On the other hand, the Panama Canal suffered a rare drought last year since 1950, which seriously affected the canal's traffic capacity. This resulted in queues of ships on both sides of the already busy waterway, and the navigation time was extended to an astonishing 21 days. U.S. geologists warn that water shortages in the Panama Canal could become common as global climate change intensifies. A lack of water in the canal means a drop in water levels, and a drop in the canal water level means the draft of shipping is restricted, resulting in fewer ships passing through. This is a huge blow to South American countries that rely on canal transportation. Once the canal ceases operations due to drought, these trade volumes will be severely affected. Failure to deliver on time will not only lead to financial losses, but may also damage Brazil's reputation in the international market. Even more troublesome is that even if the canal resumes navigation, ships will have to wait for several days at the entrance of the Canal de Pass, which will undoubtedly increase uncertainty and cost in the transportation process. Imagine if a cargo ship loaded with soybeans had to wait for days at the entrance due to congestion in the canal. This will not only affect the freshness of the soybeans, but may also miss the best sales opportunity. More importantly, the political and economic game behind the Panama Canal is far more complicated than we imagined. Although the United States transferred control of the Canal to Panama in 1999, the United States still has significant economic and political influence in the region. As China's influence gradually increases, the United States from time to time attempts to interfere in the normal cooperative relations between neighboring countries and China, which undoubtedly puts considerable pressure on South American countries. For countries like Brazil that are friendly to China, they are worried about the possibility of encountering U.S. interference or restrictions in transporting critical supplies. This may not only hinder the smooth flow of trade, but also pose a threat to national security. Therefore, cooperation between Brazil and Peru is particularly urgent. Once completed, the Port of Chancay will provide Brazil and even South America with a new alternative to the Panama Canal. Preliminary estimates are that through the new port, South American exporters will be able to ship goods directly to the port and ship to Asia via the Pacific. This not only significantly shortens transportation time, but also effectively reduces costs. It is worth mentioning that the completion of the Chancay port not only greatly promoted the economic interests of Brazil and other South American countries, but also had a significant impact on China. The main reason behind this is that South America leads the world in copper and lithium reserves, and China, as a global manufacturing power, has extremely huge demand for these key resources. With the help of Chancay Port, China can obtain these key raw materials more conveniently, thereby ensuring the stable development of the manufacturing industry. In addition, South American countries have a strong interest in various commodities and technological products produced in China. Through the Port of Chancay, these Chinese goods can enter the South American market faster, meet the needs of local consumers, and inject impetus into the further development of bilateral trade relations.